Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you here. This is an exciting day. We're breaking ground on the Mid-City Neighborhood Greenway project, which to my understanding, has been in the works for 10 years. So it's been a while. So thank you to LADOT, the Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Street Services, LAUSD, Mid-City West, and everyone in the community who helped make this happen, and a special shout out to Scott Epstein, who's going to be speaking later, for being the man with the plan. So this is a project that came together through input from a lot of people. From Beverly Grove to Fairfax to Hollywood, neighbors told us what they needed. Today that work starts to take shape. We're adding traffic diverters to slow down cut-through traffic. We're adding traffic circles and curb extensions to help people cross the street more safely. These are design changes that help make our streets safer without relying on only enforcement. We're building infrastructure that puts people first. It means safer streets, better air quality, and stronger communities. So thank you again for your support. I'd like to now welcome our first speaker, Deborah Weintraub, who's the Chief Deputy City Engineer with the Bureau of Engineering. Please come on up, Deborah.
Thank you, Councilmember. So I'm thrilled to be here today to represent the technical staff from the Bureau of Engineering who did the design work on this project in coordination with LADOT and who will be managing the construction. I'm Deborah Weintraub. I'm the Chief Deputy City Engineer, and I have with me two of my commission board members, John Grant and Faith Mitchell over here, for whom I work. So the council member described some of the features of the project. I'll just say this is 4.5 miles connecting through the heart of this neighborhood to create safer pathways for people on bicycles. This couldn't be a more exciting project. I won't go through the details of all the features for these 4.5 miles. This map over here kind of shows the extent of the project. The construction period, we gave a notice to proceed back in February. The contractor who's here, Access Pacific Incorporated, they're represented here, can raise their hands, was given a notice to proceed back in end of February. The construction will be done sometime in the summer-fall of 2026, a fairly efficient construction time for 4.5 miles of street improvements. LADOT is going to be hosting, I have some competing speakers. LADOT is going to be hosting a website which will give updates to the community about the progress of construction, because I know once construction starts, there's always community questions about when are you going to be off my street. So that's at ladot.livablestreets.org. So our project manager, Teddy, is on vacation today, but I wanted to introduce you to Noor Mallis, who's here. Raise your hand. Noor, who runs our street improvement division. If there are follow-up questions on details on the project, he'll be able to answer that. So with that, I would like to pass it over to my colleague, who's the general manager of the Department of Transportation, Laura Cornejo, with whom we've been collaborating for all these many years. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you, Councilmember Yaroslavsky, for bringing us together as we begin construction on this exciting new project. The Mid-City Greenway that we break ground on today is a result of a partnership with residents and businesses in the communities of Beverly Grove, Fairfax, and Hollywood to deliver safer, calmer streets and calmer neighborhoods. We've heard your concerns about how cut-through traffic from major corridors is spilling over onto residential streets, with speeds and driving patterns that have no place in communities where children walk and families congregate. So working under the leadership of the council member's office and with our city partners at the Bureau of Engineering, along with community members, we've designed an approach to residential streets that we're proud to implement here today in Mid-City for the first time. With this project, we go beyond just simply addressing the major arterial streets. We recognize that residential streets also require special attention to ensure that they remain safe places for people to move and travel safely. The project delivers over 4 miles, 4.5 miles to be more exact, of improvements along the streets of Rosewood, Orange, and Formosa. These treatments are proven to calm vehicle speeds and make walking and biking easier and more enjoyable for everybody, putting people first. The Greenway network also connects to key destinations such as Fairfax, the Melrose Shopping District, and Hollywood, making all of these amenities more accessible to bike or take whatever mode you choose to take. I want to thank our LEDOT staff who's standing over there under the shade, who have worked on this project for a number of years. And it's always great to see your project that you've been working on actually get built. Also want to thank our partners at the Bureau of Engineering. I want to thank Councilmember Yaroslavsky for her leadership and taking this project across the finish line. And most of all, I want to thank the community members, the businesses, for entrusting us with your vision of safer streets and supporting us as we bring this to fruition. Now I'd like to introduce Rachel Sherman, representing the Los Angeles Unified School District.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored to be here on behalf of LAUSD board member Nick Melvoin to celebrate this important milestone and groundbreaking that we're so excited for. And as school board member, Nick has always said that student safety doesn't start at the school gate. As we know, it starts in our neighborhoods, on the routes students walk, bike, and ride every single day to and from school. And that's why projects like this one are so important. With the installation of these pedestrian and traffic safety measures, we're making the streets around our schools safer, not just for students at Rosewood, STEM Magnet, but for families, neighbors, and community members in the community. I also want to give a special thank you and shout out to Principal Linda K. Crowder of Rosewood STEM for her leadership here and for always advocating for a safer and more supportive environment for our students and staff. And a big thank you, of course, to LADOT, Councilwoman Yaroslavsky and her team, and to all the community members who have helped make this possible. We're really excited to see the improvements that come and want to thank everyone for working together to make this a reality and make our students and community safer and doing so sustainably. So really appreciate you all and thank you for having me. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Scott Epstein, Director of Policy and Research for Abundant Housing LA.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Is it both mics? Okay. My name is Scott Epstein. I was the chair of the Mid-City West Neighborhood Council for 7 years and on the board for 9 years. And so thank you very much, Councilmember Yaroslavsky, and all of the amazing agencies that made this project happen. That got us to this stage. I want to just kind of tell the story of the project a little bit because I think it's instructive and inspiring. So I was first elected to the neighborhood council in 2012, and when I showed up to the executive board meeting where appointments to committees were being made, I said, I think I kind of want to get involved in transportation, and the chair at that time said, would you like to chair the Transportation Committee? And I said, okay, sure. And I got to work. And I was hearing from community members that they wanted safer streets. They wanted ways to get out on their feet and on two wheels that were safe for them and safe for their families. I knew I was frustrated. And so I started to teach myself a little bit about city planning. I poured through the mobility plan and found that there was this really cool piece of the plan that basically had not been implemented citywide, which is the neighborhood network of bicycle-friendly streets. It's a pretty simple idea. The idea that these beautiful residential streets that we see right now can be more than what they are now, that they can do more. And whether they're called bicycle boulevards or neighborhood greenways, or they're in Tucson or Portland or Seattle, the idea on how to implement them is the same. So what you do is you make sure there are fewer cars on those streets by diverting those cars where you can, and you lower the speed of those vehicles. And that creates an environment where we can feel safe on foot and on bike. So we were able to pass in 2013 a motion at Mid-City West. I think it was on about a 30-to-1 vote to pass to say we want this in our community. And then we started talking to staff, and we rode all around the neighborhood with city planning and LADOT staff and engaged. And in 2014, we did a community engagement event called the Friendly Ride that was conceived by my friend Josh Paget, standing here today. And we rode around the community with 40 members of the community, highlighting 6 intersections and talking about what they look like now and what they would look like after we made changes to make these spaces safer for folks. And then in 2015, David Summers, who's now at City Planning, at LADOT, sorry. He was at City Planning then. Now he's at LADOT. Thought this would be a good fit for a Metro grant proposal. Internally, the city scored this project about 4th or 5th among the projects that they were applying to Metro for funds. But when Metro saw the project, they scored it number 1, and it was funded. And so that's how we get here today. The neighborhood council and community members stayed engaged all through the process, not just in conceiving the idea, but in implementing it as well, making sure it was implemented at the highest level, at a world-class level. And that's how we're here today. And I think, far too often, our hyper-local politics are about what we don't want in our community. Whether it's, I don't want a bike lane on Westwood Boulevard, or I don't want interim housing, or I don't want this, or I don't want this. What I would like you to take away from today is there's a different way. We can say what we do want. And this is an example of everyone getting together around improvements that can make all of our lives better, and can build a more vibrant, sustainable, and beautiful city. So thank you all for being here. I hope you will continue to follow this project and ride it and walk it when it is fully implemented.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Scott, for your leadership, your advocacy, and your love of this community. So I just want to give a special shout out to my team that's here as well for all of your work. Day, Tao, Annalise, and Jarrett, for holding it down, making sure things move forward with today and getting to today. What we're celebrating today really is the result of steady collaboration between departments, partners, and community members, and of course this school. So thank you so much to the Principal Crowder, again, who's already advocating for speed humps. So we're on to the next project. We're working on it, I promise. Thank you to the crews who work on our streets every day, to everyone who cares about making our neighborhoods safe and more livable. We're breaking ground on this project, and we're going to keep moving forward together. So that wraps up today's event. We're happy to take any questions, if there are any. Otherwise, well, yes.
Just a quick question about the safety element of this. Given that just a few days ago there was a tragedy up in West Hollywood, not far from here, involving a bicyclist, and this is obviously for promoting bicycling. How does this improve the safety element?
So I think Scott articulated it really well. So the goal here is to divert as many cars as we can by slowing down traffic. And so cars that are going to want to speed through the neighborhood can go up and go a little faster on the arterials. And then these improvements will narrow the lanes and slow cars down, make sure people are paying attention. They're going to have to pay more attention because there's a little more happening with the roadway. We're also bumping out the curbs to narrow or to lessen the path for people being in the street, slowing cars down, roundabouts, really making drivers be more engaged and aware of their surroundings. Yeah.
What's happening at this intersection or this part of Rosewood?
DOT?
I would ask the project manager.
Yeah, can the project manager speak to that?
Charlie.
Come on up, Charlie.
Yeah, so for this specific location and the location adjacent to it at Rosewood and Alfred, we're building curb extensions right next to Rosewood Elementary to make it easier and safer for pedestrians, especially parents with kids, to cross the street.
All right.
there's no more questions, we'll go across the street to break ground.
1, 2, 3. Now what?